Oh, 5 series, that's actually bad.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the best. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to... I hate this part by the way. Hi guys, welcome back to Drive London. I'm Rohit, this is Abdullahi, and we're about to do a mock test. Abdullahi found us from YouTube.
Yes.
He watched some of our mock tests and got in contact with us to do a mock test himself. And he has a test coming up on the Saturday. So in less than a week. And it's at Yedding Test Centre. Now we're in a completely different test centre because we didn't organise it for Yedding. But we did a half-an-hour drive. So this is my first time actually meeting Abdullahi, and we did a half-an-hour drive, and his drive's okay. He made one dangerous mistake earlier, where we almost kind of run over a pedestrian, but he did get to the brakes, but I had to get to them before him. But yeah, he drove quite well, and he said he has slight issues on roundabouts, so we've selected a route which is going to include some roundabouts for him, so he can practice those. Okay, shall we get into this?
Yes.
So this is your first mock test?
My first mock test,
yeah. I've never done an actual test as well. And you've done about 30 hours, right?
30 hours.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's explain how the test is going to work. It's going to last for 40 minutes. During those 40 minutes, you're going to keep throwing the road ahead unless I ask you to turn left or right. There'll be one maneuver and possibly the emergency stop. And there'll be one show me and one tell me question. Okay? Now for you guys, whenever he makes any mistakes, any serious or dangerous mistakes will be listed up in here at the top in red. And any minors or advisories will be in amber. Anything he does well will be in green. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Any questions before we start?
Nothing.
Okay, good. Let's start with that tell me question. Could you tell me how you would check the engine oil?
The engine oil?
Yeah, just tell me.
Open the bonnet, take out the, I don't know what it's called, but the thing, and then wipe it down. So it should have some markers. And then you put it back in, then you should have a lower mark, and so it's got limits where if the oil is below that, then you need to top it up.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so whenever you're ready, you can start the car. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow the sat nav for the whole 40 minutes. So just with my mock test, you probably realised we followed the sat nav, okay?
For the whole test, yeah?
Yes, for the whole test. And you can see that okay from there?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Now I know it's telling you to go backwards, but you can't because it's a one-way road. Once you start driving on, it should sort itself out, okay? So whenever you're ready, I'd like you to drive on.
Okay.
Any messages on your dashboard, just like that, it says,
okay.
Just press OK, that's it, well done.
Okay.
Turn right, then go left on the roundabout. Go left on the roundabout, first exit. 200 yards, turn right. Turn right. After 300 yards, cross the roundabout, second exit. Cross the roundabout, second exit. After 200 yards, turn right. left on the roundabout, first exit. Go left on the roundabout, first exit.
Abdullahi, when it's safe to do so, I'd like you to turn on the front demister for me, please. Oh, a bit close to the gun there. Okay, thank you. When it's safe, I'd like you to turn it off again, please.
After 400 yards, go right on the roundabout, third exit. Go right on the roundabout, third exit.
I'd like us to pull over and park in a safe place for me, please. and drive on whenever you're ready.
After 200 yards, turn right. Turn right. After 200 yards, go left on the roundabout, first exit. Go left on the roundabout, first exit. After 200 yards, go right on the roundabout, third exit. Go right on the roundabout, third exit.
like us to pull over and park in a safe place on the right side of the road. Thank you. Okay, now I'd like us to reverse back 2 car lengths, keeping reasonably close to the curb. Yeah, and
Okay.
start whenever you're ready. Okay, we're going to stop it there. I think the tyre's grinding against the curb there. Okay, and we'll drive on whenever you're ready.
After 200 yards, cross the roundabout, first exit. Cross the roundabout, first exit. Go left on the roundabout, first exit.
I'd like us to pull over and park in a safe place for me, please. Okay, thank you, and drive on whenever you're ready. and just before the next parked car, don't worry about the yellow line on this occasion, just get a little bit close to this vehicle.
Closer?
Yep, a little bit closer. I'll tell you when to stop. That's great, thank you. That's great. Give yourself enough room to move away. Okay, and drive on whenever you're ready.
Okay.
After 200 yards, go right on the roundabout, second exit. Go right on the roundabout, second exit. After 200 yards, cross the roundabout, second exit, then turn right.
And that's where we're going to ignore the sat-nav now. And you're going to follow my directions. So we're going to turn left, first exit the roundabout instead.
Cross the roundabout, second exit, then turn right.
Pull over and park in a safe place. Now we're going to do it on the right side of the road, just before that grey car. Okay, so yeah, to keep it slow, you're going to have to mount the curb. I've got more left now. That's good. That's great, thank you. I want to secure the car and turn off the engine for me, please.
You put it up on the end, yeah.
That's great, yeah. I'm going to turn off the engine for me, please. Okay, that brings us to the end of the test. Give me a second.
Right, 40 minutes more quick.
Yeah. Okay, how do you think you've done?
I think I failed.
Okay, why do you think you failed?
Because literally about a few minutes ago I slowed down the car when I was moving off.
Okay, yes.
That was one. Second one I had in mind but I forgot.
Okay, so you think you made more than one serious mistake?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, unfortunately, yes, you did fail the test. And we made 5 serious mistakes in total.
Alright.
Okay, I'm going to explain them. Okay, so one of them you already know. So when we moved up from that park position, bit of a difficult situation. We're on a slight bend, but you could still see that car coming quite quickly.
I saw that one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So when you moved off, the blue car behind us, we slowed them down, and that's the serious fault. So you just got to remember the whole purpose of us looking around and doing our checks is to make sure it's safe.
Speeding. I saw him. It was quite a distance away, so I thought I could make.
Now at the same time,
second it was.
So you could tell he was coming fast in your mirror?
No, I just saw the car and I thought it was a distance away, so I didn't assess his speeding.
Okay, so just take a little bit more longer. Just try to ask yourself, okay, how fast is this person going? And as you moved off, if you realise they're coming up quite quick, what should you do?
Just wait.
No?
If they're coming too quick.
Yeah.
As I moved off, then you move.
Then you build your speed as well.
Speed up.
Yeah, you can try matching the speed within the speed limit. Yep, I know he was going slightly above, but you did slow him down quite a bit, and you still got to take into consideration fast vehicles. Imagine if that was an emergency vehicle, like a police car. We still can't do the same thing, right? Okay, so you got to make sure we take speed into account as well. How fast is the car's going?
Second one was it. Now they mentioned the emergency vehicles and the roundabout as well, where I thought it was clear, but I didn't hear the sound, and then an ambulance just came in the road.
That was okay. I felt like you dealt with that okay as well. Yes, we saw them a little bit late, but they still managed to go before you, so that was okay. So no serious mistakes there.
Okay. What was the other four?
So let me tell you other four. Okay, so with the maneuver, how was that?
Oh yeah, the maneuver as well. I robbed the curb.
Yeah, I could hear it going squeaking. The tires squeaking against the curb. Now I didn't want to get a cut or a bulge in the tire. If it kept going, you don't know if there was a sharp.
I didn't know if that was the tire though.
That was the tire. I could hear it. Okay, I think the tire's grinding against the curb there, and I could see in the camera.
Was I thinking, was it a clutch or was that?
So would you say you was looking in that mirror to see how close you was getting to the curb?
Yeah, I was looking at that mirror.
You was?
Yeah.
And was there a gap between the curb and the car?
It was literally a tiny gap, very, very tiny.
Okay, there was when you originally pulled over and parked, the gap was very small, but then when it came to reversing, you didn't actually increase that gap. If anything, you made it smaller. And then we were grinding the tire against the actual curb there, and that's a serious mistake for control. Okay, so I said I want you to stay reasonably close. Now what you did wrong there was that you parked way too close. You allowed a drain's width of a gap, so you aim for that much space. So you got some wiggle room. Okay, by law you can park this far away from the curb. Yep. Now you find a lot of people always want to park really close. That's because they're worried about the mirrors. Now in your test you don't need to worry about that. You just got to make sure you park a good distance away from the curb. And when it comes to reversing, we don't need to worry about the tires so much. Okay. So you got a serious mistake for that. And also part of that maneuver, when you originally came in to park, there was an oncoming vehicle. There was a couple of oncoming vehicles, and now when you originally came in, it was good. Okay. But you took too long to park. And while you're still parking, they're passing through and they're having to go wider to allow you that space to park. You've got to make sure when the examiners ask you to pull over.
What was that? Was that during the maneuver?
Correct. So I said to you, pull over.
So was I moving whilst they were taking over?
So let me explain it. So I said to you, pull over and park on the right side of the road.
Yeah.
We had oncoming vehicles. Okay. There was a gap between there. Gave you enough time to come in and park.
Yeah.
You came in, but you slowed it really down, right down, yeah, and then you had to take a little bit longer to actually get the car straight and stop. During that time, cars are starting to pass through now, and we're making them having to swerve around us. Okay, you've got to make sure you can pull over and park without affecting the oncoming traffic. So you've got to try to park without the cars reaching us. So you've got to find a big enough gap where you've got enough time to come in and park without affecting oncoming traffic. So that also would have been a serious mistake. But in total, as in a whole maneuver, you got one serious mistake, which was for control. A, not being able to pull over and park and affecting oncoming traffic. And two, getting too close to the curb and grinding the tire.
So you gave me just one for that?
It's one. For the whole maneuver, the control could have been better. So your parking could have been better. So you could have parked better, quicker. And then also when you're reversing back, making sure we don't rub the tire against the curb. Okay. I gave you a serious mistake for vehicle checks. Now I asked you to turn on the front demister.
Okay.
Remember when you were driving at 40 miles per hour? Said, could you turn on the front demister? And as you're doing it, the car's drifting over to the left, and I said, oh, that's a bit close to the curb. Do you remember me saying that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Now we're taking eyes off the road for too long. You're driving at 40 miles per hour. Yes, we need to look down there, but break it up. Turn the fan on. Give you a second to reposition, or just make sure you still got good positioning on the road, and then turn on the front
I've got a serious for that.
You got a serious fault because you got way too close. Now imagine you took your eyes off for another second, you could have hit the curb there. Okay, now remember, the examiners say do it when it's safe to do so. Take your time, don't need to rush to do it. Make sure you got good positioning, make sure you don't lose control of where the car's going. But your car did drift to the left, and that's why I gave you a serious fault. Okay, and as soon as the examiners say thank you, you can turn off the demisters. It was going to get too hot in the car, so I told you to turn it off manually. If not, the examiners would, in your real test, the examiners just leave it on. But it'll get so hot in the car, and that's just going to make you sweat even more. Okay. I gave us a serious mistake for steering. We hit the curb when you're parking.
Oh yeah, that one I remember as well.
Yeah, so we got you to pull over and park. We bounced off the curb. Again, you create a cut in your tyre, a bulge, and that's the contact you have with the road. And ideally, you want to protect those tyres without hitting the curb when you're parking. Okay. And then I gave us a serious mistake for response to road markings. So this is when we're going in on the roundabout, turning right, third exit.
Okay.
Yeah, so on the dual carriageway, turning right, third exit. It's a big roundabout. We've come into the roundabout quite well, and then the road markings on the floor said the lane that you decided to go into, it said straight ahead only. The lane you should have been in was the one next to the right, next to the middle one on the right. So explain that again. So we're coming up to a roundabout, turning right, third exit. As you're coming up, you've gone into the far right lane first.
Okay.
As you've entered the roundabout, you've looked at the road markings.
3 lanes and I decided.
Correct. You went into the middle lane.
No, I went to the last one, the far end, at the traffic lights when I stopped.
No. Okay. So when you originally went in, there was 3 lanes.
Yeah.
One of the lanes, the far right one, had hatch markings. Now a lot of people get put off this. They think that at this point they can't go over those markings. You can go over those markings because just beyond them it had a right arrow. The lane that you went into said straight ahead only. So that was, you can only go straight from that lane. But instead you went into that lane and curved around. Had that arrow not been there, had there been no arrows, that would have been a perfect roundabout. That would have been a nice good position. But you have to obey road markings at the same time. If it says straight ahead only, you should be in the far right lane. So you should have gone over the hatch markings, into that right lane, and then drifted back to the left lane. Okay, so you got a serious mistake for a response to road markings there.
Yeah, 5 in total.
5 serious mistakes in total. The
And
maneuver,
how many minors?
you got 14 minors.
That was another fail.
No, so you'll add up to 15 minors, but I'm a little bit stricter with the minors, so I wouldn't worry about those too much. Just make sure you understand the serious mistakes there, okay? I will go over the minors with you separately.
Oh, 5 serious, that's actually bad.
Yeah, it's not it's not the best, okay? Considering you have your test coming up on Saturday. Now, some of these faults, I feel like you probably wouldn't have even made if it was your instructor's car, because it's about getting used to this car.
That blind spot mirror helps a lot.
Yeah, so you got a blind spot mirror. I get people not to use those because usually when you buy a car, they
don't have it.
Yeah, you don't, I mean you can get it, but most people don't buy it. So I'd like to teach you with that.
Curb 10 times.
That's it, and then you learn from the mistakes. Why not just learn without the blind spot mirrors as well? Okay, unless you know you're going to get them, then I would use them. But they're there for aids. I mean, you can always buy them, but I prefer teaching people without them. Okay, but yeah, just use your mirrors more. Raise yourself up to look down at the curb more as well. Okay, and I feel like with the steering, with the hitting the curb, I feel like you probably wouldn't do this. You mentioned this right at the start.
Yeah, right.
Because of the mirror, the blind spot mirror, you can't judge the curb very well. But I told you another reference with the windscreen. You try to use that. On the first time when we parked, it was okay. But the second time we bounced off the curb. But let's just quickly whiz through this one more time. The 5 serious mistakes. So pulling over and parking on the right. Make sure you're parking without affecting oncoming traffic. And make sure you don't touch the curb. You've got to stay reasonably close with the curb. Vehicle checks. Make sure you got control of the vehicle. So you got a serious fault because you lost control. And then
And as mentioned as well, the steering is very light. I literally had it as strong as I could. Then try to turn on the rear demisters.
But that's where you went wrong then. You're not supposed to hold it so tight.
Is it?
Yeah, the more tight you hold it, the more likely it's going to follow your hand each time you... If you use a bit more looser on it, on the steering wheel, it will just keep going in a straight line. Especially at that speed, the faster you go, the more the car wants to go in a straight line. So don't hold the steering wheel so tight when you're going that fast.
Okay.
Okay? And then you hit the curb when you're parking. Moving off safely, you slow down the blue car, and the road markings going into an incorrect lane for turning right on a roundabout.
4 of them were just, they could have been avoided very, very easily. The
Yeah.
roundabout, that was a trick one.
Yeah, that is a hard roundabout. Now that
That was the only trick one, but the rest 4 they could have been avoided.
correct. You're very correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm sure if I got you to do this whole test again, the roundabout, you wouldn't make that mistake again because you understand it now. You have to obey the road markings. But the rest, this just is a new car, and I feel like that's what it is. But I still feel you got a good drive in you, and for Saturday you should be good for the test.
Hopefully.
Okay. And hopefully you'll let us know so we can let you guys know if you pass
We'll
this.
let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best of luck to Abdullahi until the next mock test. Okay, guys.